Hi, I'm corporate trainer Dana Brownlee, and I'd like to talk for a minute about leading organizational change. In particular, what are some tips as it relates to communicating changes to staff? One of the biggest mistakes that I see leaders make is when they're talking about impending changes, they tend to stick to the nuts and bolts. You used to do X, and now you're going to do Y. We used to do it on paper, and now it's going to be online. And that might seem tempting, but I found that not to be as effective. What I have found to be more effective is to speak to the full person. And when I say the full person, I break that into three components: the head, the heart, and the hands. So let me explain what I mean by that. The head means intellectually, logically, have you explained the rationale for the change, the why of the change? Again, it's tempting to just go to the what's changing. But before you do that, it's probably helpful to give them some context. Explain what the rationale was, how the decision was made, how this is going to benefit the organization. And let me pause here and clarify, this doesn't mean that they have to agree with it. Maybe you don't even agree with it, but you still take some time to explain what the rationale is behind the change so that people begin to accept it intellectually. Once we've talked about the why, the head, then we can move to the heart. That's well, what's in it for me? How is this affecting me? Every single person that you're talking to has that dialogue going as you're talking. What is this going to mean for me? I wonder if we have to go to that new location. What's the drive like in the morning? What's the parking situation like? Am I going to get a new manager? Am I going to have a new job? Is my role going to change? Am I even going to have a job? So it could be small things or large things, but you really need to create a space to talk about whatever those issues are that really impact each particular individual. People might be worried about big things like, do they have a job, or how does it change their role or the scope of their work or the trajectory of their career? But they don't but they could also be worried about what might be perceived as little things. Can I still telecommute one day a week? Am I going to park in the same parking garage? What's the traffic like in the morning? Things like that. And you want to speak to a wide variety of issues. And then finally, the hands. And that's really the behavior issues. How is the behavior changing? Maybe we used to fill this out manually, but now we're going to do it online. Or used to make a phone call to get the support, but now you're going to submit a trouble ticket. So that's really the nuts and bolts of what is actually changing. And as you point that out, it might also be helpful to point out what's not changing, because sometimes people can get sucked into, oh my God, the sky is falling, because there are some changes being made. But it's also helpful and comforting to point out the scope of issues that are not being changed. I hope that's helpful. Please feel free to reach out to our resource library at any time for additional tips, tricks, articles, or videos. You can find those at professionalismmatters.com/resources. Thanks so much.